Hello, Professor. Hello, classmates. Sorry for my presence tonight. I am battling a banging migraine. I'm going to make this short, but try to cover all points that are necessary to address. Um, I have the first source that I have is the CompTIA book, and it is the actual section of data loss prevention. Hold on one second. Let me make sure I get it correct. So the first half is going to be from page 315. The second half is going to be CompTIA as well, page 318. The first part, I'm also citing material from the um, Microsoft article, what is data loss prevention, DLP, and they're just going to be going over some best practices, uh, very familiar best practices, but just went to another source to make sure that those concepts are just more abbreviated for me, so that I'd have a better understanding going into these things on what mindset to keep. So I use the source um, Microsoft Security, and their article, "What is Data Loss Prevention?" Um, so to begin with the first part, um, what is data loss prevention? Name three methods of DLP, and also I'm gonna go into and explain what how would the best way to protect that type of data. Um, so going in first, the three different types of methods we have discussed twice in class. The last week and also this week, but it was a great refresher to become familiar with these concepts. The first one was data at rest. That's where some data is being stored on the files are being stored on a network, someone's computer, a file server, cloud. So the data at rest is meaning it's inside some type of storage. Data in transit means that it's going from one person to another, a file that's put together and being sent from one through a private network from one person to another. And you can secure this information with a type of encryption process, which we will discuss later in best practices. Um, data data in use is when the data being protected is it involves an endpoint user, and it prevents unauthorized copying or printing of that document or that sensitive data in order to keep it safe. So data in use is usually it will probably be a special access. Good way to think about it is probably a password protected document, or something. It's a database of some sort that people have access to, but they would only have certain permissions that will allow them to get access to this data in use. So I would think more of a sign-in method, or an authorized user's access from their computer, their end user's computer. The next one is some of the best practices that should be involved with data loss prevention and this is where reference Microsoft security is discover and classify the data and put it, put it in a compartment where it can be accessed. Use data encryption methods, restrict access to sensitive information, only allow access to particular individuals with clearance, harden your overall security system, monitor your valuable data and its access, and make sure that you're keeping your systems up to date, making sure your patches are up to date, and all backups and things of that sort is also up to date. Um, Use automation whenever possible, and also keep a program of ongoing training for the employees that will be accessing this information. Preparing employees for future use is very important so that they can, they will carry on with best practices once they are trained on the right behaviors and the right habits to have when helping with data loss prevention. The next part of the discussion is for the second part is data rights management, and what is it? What is data? When would digital rights management and watermarks be used? And then the second part of the question is, what are hardware and software approaches in the data being used? Digital rights management and watermarking is referred to media, media or something like a game, video, a track, music track. Um, we were discussing some of these methods, which were like back in the days, Napster and things of that sort. All the little media download programs that used to be ready and available, but they, at the same time, it was illegal to copy that information. To combat this, there was the watermarking process, or required to have it on the media in order to transfer it, and an organization would safeguard it with these watermarks. um the two methods, the two different approaches that is discussed on page 318 of our CompTIA student guide was the hardware approach, where the particular material is only accessible from an authorized computer, television, game console, or just a device in general. It's a hardware approach. It cannot be transferred from that device. A good simple um, um, example of this is an arcade game. I mean, you can't move the information from the video game, from the arcade game, to any other type of media outlet. If you're in the arcade, you would have to play the game directly on that device. There's also a software. There's also a software approach where the software is guarded the same way. You can run the applications on a particular device. You can use cryptographic mechanisms and hardware to access this material. However, protecting against this software and abuse can be kind of challenging if someone has access to the software. And the one of the things I would say would be able to help is having a key of some sort to access this software. But other than that, it could be challenging, because if someone has access to the software programming or the application, they may very well be able to override getting access to that particular program. Um, but yeah, overall, watermarking, uh, one of the things I can recall in today's time that resembles this type of protection against media is when someone does a YouTube video or something like that. Sometimes you can see watermarks on their media, or something that they researched and put together, like sorry, my head is hurting. Like a research video or something of that sort, where they put their work into it, and they have like a montage of pictures or information put together. You might see a little watermark going across the screen, signifying that the material was produced and made by that individual. So that's like a good example of a watermark that I can think of today, still being implemented today. um but yeah, thank you for oh yeah, also I have seen them enact like MGM. They have like, I know if you have certain material of theirs, they just forensically have a way of picking up on their material being reused, and they can have it removed from the internet, whether it be on your social media page or not, if it's copyrighted. But yes, I just wanted to add that in there. um, Thank you for joining me on this discussion. I hope to engage with you guys even further on this topic. Yeah, thank you. Have a good night.